Do you remember the story of my ex? Of course, I told you so many of my exes. Which one am I talking about? Well, remember the girl that was extremely mad at me because, well, I don't know, because I said hi when I saw her after we broke up, or that she forbid me to go to the park, which she said she doesn't like, yet suddenly it become her dog walking park just so she can show who has something bigger. Let's call it a stick. And of course, these things have hurt me because you're spending 1.5 years with someone and then you're receiving all this hatred all of a sudden because you lost your job and you just couldn't really manage that process very well. It hurts, but what hurts more is that you're losing your friend. And then you're realizing what you saw in this relationship is might not be same what other person saw. And that's okay. I mean, when you think that probably the top 5 things she had done for you, one of them is to leaving you, is kinda hurts. Yet I know myself, if she rings the bell and says I need help, I will be there. And I saw her while I was walking, and Max was with her, so I know she moved to that area, and she looked miserable, which was sad. I mean, she was also looking very sad and angry every other time I saw her, which also hurts because, I mean, just because it didn't work out doesn't mean I never loved her or I would didn't want her to be happy. And actually, I even had a video about it, that even after every time she was bullying me, I said, no, you love this person. So instead of feeling anger just because she's projecting this to you, you have to clean this feeling and instead send her love. So this is how I would like to go through a process. And it was sad seeing her like that. Maybe a month after I saw her, this time I saw her in my dream. We were on a train and she came next to me. And you know, sometimes we want to prove something to someone. And she was telling me how happy she is. She's with this wonderful man and everything. And I was like, I'm happy for you. Yet something felt off. Something felt like, you know, theatrical in that dream. No, it's a dream. And I usually don't even remember my dreams. And I woke up and I thought, hey, if it was real, how would I feel? Probably I would be jealous of this person because I failed. He made it. And I would be happy for her because now finally she's happy. She found love. This was what I was feeling. And a few weeks passed. I was with a friend and he needed someone who does her job. And I said, I mean, she was very good. She works for these companies. I mean, you can get in touch with her. It doesn't affect me. And he asked for her Instagram. So I'm someone blocked there, so I can just type her name. I need to look for the conversations, the messages we had. And there I'm gonna find this person who blocked me. I click on the profile and it shows the name. And I was unblocked. And the surname was different. So here it is, my dream is there. And I went through so many different emotions. And for a second, I really fall to the stupid idea of, I failed. Someone else managed to make her happy. And I knew how stupid that is. Yet, for half a day, I stuck in that emotion. So I usually talk about emotions can change. And you know, I don't have any emotions. Suddenly I put that emotion, even I know it's stupid, and I knew I had to get myself out. So with every not so same person, I called another ex. Yet we are on a very good terms, and she likes to like shake me up a lot. I called her and we were talking on so many different events, what happened to her, her job, this and that. And we weren't even talking about that, how stupid that feelings are about this marriage thing. And she told me that, I don't know why you let people use you. Or maybe she said abuse you. And the moment she told me that, and she told it like out of context, out of nowhere, all this stupid feeling of I felt someone else did just went away. Because I just abusing this relationship all the time. The moment she said that, it just bring everything back. And I said, okay, I didn't fail. It was an experience. And it's done. Now it's someone else's experience. Somebody else is gonna experience how to be with this person. I wish them well. And poof, just like that. I mean, I put myself in a stupid emotion, and just with one realization, I just put myself out of it. So if I can do it, you can do it. Though first you need to be aware of your emotions and how unnecessarily stupid those are. I mean, I was aware, still I fall into that trap, whatever you call it. Yet I was aware that it's not reality. It's something I chose. So I seek help in past tense. And I took myself out. If I can do it, you can do it. Yet it starts with being conscious. It starts with not holding on to something. It starts with releasing. You release yourself from this unnecessary emotions, from these unnecessary attachments. Yeah. So why don't you try? Just sit, take a deep breath, and ask yourself, what's bothering you? Then ask yourself if it's reality. There's this, I mean, it's your reality, but does it really need to be your reality? There's this idea of rewriting the story. In the same story, you can be a victim, you can be a hero. I broke both my hands. My grandma and my parents, they wiped my ass. For about 2 months, I was, I think, 22. I couldn't wear anything. I couldn't eat anything. I only had one finger working. And my ex at that time broke up with me just after my surgery. So if I want to hate women, I have an excuse. If I want to hate something, I have an excuse. I mean, my hands are basically not perfect right now. Yet I wanted to choose something different. For her, the person who left me, I said, She had her issues. It's about her, not about me. And whatever she had done, whatever she said, whatever she was feeling is not going to affect me. And it doesn't reflect other women. See, this is a choice. And everything else, I mean, I could just go with drama. Oh, my hands doesn't work. Yet I chose something different. And I said, hey, with one finger, I'll do my best. I'm gonna watch anime, all day. Oh, one finger. I'm gonna play a game with this. Maybe it's gonna be turn-based, very slow pace, but I'll do it. And I did it. So it's kind of a heroic story. And then I told my parents, hey, get me a shoe with Velcro because I can't tie, I know that. But I wanna put my own shoes myself. And I remember that day that it was so hard for me to walk. I was still so sick. My parents were like holding me when we were going inside the shops. And I was so picky. The shopkeepers, they were bringing me this Velcro shoes, and I was like, I don't like this one. I don't like this. Okay, I want to try this one. Because I'm responsible of my own story. You are responsible for your own story. And in my story, I chose to have better looking Velcro shoes. Of course, this can turn into something stupid too, obsessions. But for me, it was, I think, about self-respect. Even at that moment, I said, if I'm gonna buy one shoe, I'll be choosing it. Just write your stories, just write all this stories that is holding you and hurting you, and look, if you can change it. I know it's hard. I have my own stories that I stuck with. But do you know what? I ask for help. I do my best to face it. Actually, just last week in this house, I was lying on the sofa and my friend was guiding me through that event that has been haunting me. It's a choice to face the darkness in you, or it's a choice to just to not look at it while it's still holding you. Just take a step. Just take a step. It's scary, but it's also revealing. It's freeing. Just take a step.